Facebook starts. Welcome everyone to another Tuesday morning mortgage coach interview. I am your host today, Todd Bookspan. So on behalf of Dave Savage and the whole crew at Mortgage Coach, welcome. Super excited for today's call. Before I introduce our special guest, I want to introduce my co-host, none other than the queen of social media, plug and play SM, Deborah Bird. What's going on?
Not much other than I'm learning I need to up my breakfast game after what you had for breakfast, but we'll talk about that on a different call.
Yeah, now we're going to keep everyone on pins and needles who wasn't on Facebook Live. And so, as we, some of you know, in what I did a radio show for 5 years in my early mortgage career, and it was a lot of fun. I was really fortunate to be able to interview lots of great folks in the Arizona market, and I was really fortunate. We pre-recorded the show. It was actually done through Craig Sewing, who now does it on TV instead through the American Dream. And but back then he did real estate radio, and it was a blast. It was actually a great way for me to meet realtors and build relationship. And so if you're not following Craig and American Dream, I would encourage you to do so. But during that time, agents were scared. No one wanted to actually come on and record live. We were on Saturdays midday. And so we would meet on Friday mornings and record. But I was really fortunate because I had a friend in the marketplace who was super smart, who said, hey, anytime you need someone last minute to go on live, you just call me in and I'll show up. And he would show up with this bottle. I don't know if we just talked about it. I mean, we'll see if he still has it, but it was a bottle and it said secret sauce on it. So everyone always wanted to know what was the secret sauce. And Jeff Seabach, our guest, would show up with this bottle of secret sauce. And so I'll just say real quick, Jeff is an icon in the Phoenix market. He'll be able to give his ranking and statistics in there, but he closed over 700 transactions last year, almost $400 million in transaction. He runs the Seabach team at eXp Realty, and really thought that it would be a great opportunity to interview someone from the real estate space, right? There's so much fear in the marketplace. And so bring someone and really give you that lens of what's going on in the real estate world, how you can talk to your partners, how you can talk to clients, really help people overcome that fear. Because I think that knowledge will always help overcome fear. So without further ado, welcome Jeff Seabach.
Hey, thanks so much, Todd. Appreciate it. Looking forward to spreading the joy of today's marketplace and how we can just dig in and knock it out of the park. So,
well, I think that's the key, the joy of the marketplace, right? Like there's a glass half empty or glass half full. And I know, so you lead a team, right? You have a fairly large team. You guys are in Scottsdale. Can you kind of give a little bit, you said almost 700 transactions, you're in Scottsdale, Arizona, but kind of give a little bit of background on what your team looks like and, kind of how you guys get and convert and grow business.
Yeah, I mean, I think of our team in two different aspects. I think of always looking for the next, Julio Rodriguez, the guy from the Mariners last night. I don't know if I pronounced his name right, but we're always looking for the next superstar. So we have a training program that right now has 37 agents in it. And then I have 50 agents that have been with us for, 2 to 12 years. So the 50 agents mostly produce the 700 sales, but we're always looking for, got to be training the newbies coming on. So.
And, you guys have a pretty structured program, right? You have weekly meetings and you have a lot of training that you've put together to really make sure that they're not just jumping into the business and, going off and doing their own thing. You've got a pretty good system.
Yeah, no, we've amped up the training substantially this year. I mean, we normally have just a normal team meeting that's an hour and a half it's Tuesday from 10 to 11:30. Just after this call, I got to shower and get to the meeting. But then we've augmented that with other training. And the good news for everybody on the call today is we're actually going to, I'm going to turn 50 today. So I've found finally the level of abundance I needed to give it all away. So we're going to be giving it all away today on Agent Truth to share with everybody on the call so that they can have the most current training out there to help people, win in this environment, because it's tough.
Happy birthday. I was just looking at my phone, like my phone doesn't say it's Jeff's birthday, like we failed you, but happy birthday.
This is the birthday year, it's like you turn 56 months before your birthday. It's September. So we're ramping. I mean,
Oh, got it. All right. Okay, good. I don't feel so bad then. All right. Well, that's good. So let's sort of talk about the market. I mean, where do you want to start the conversation? What are the things that you're seeing as opportunities or ideas in this marketplace?
Yeah. I mean, number one is kind of rolling back the clock here to 2014, but with a different twist. And that number one thing I'm looking at is renters is the white space opportunity in the business, right? Because usually agents look down their nose at rentals because there is no, it's a longer road to get that person to a buy. Well, in a marketplace where demand is declining, this is where you want to be sowing your seeds. Okay. So the great news is that renters are great buyers in this marketplace. We'll get into that. So number two, after renters being the white space opportunity, it's upping your aggressiveness, right? We came off of a 2019, 2021 and 2020 and 2021. Those 3 years were essentially easier years for agents to convert leads, as everybody had more than 5A buyers in their pipeline. Speaking of agents, like instead of 5, they had 7, they had 10, everybody wanted to buy. And now it's lots of people, a lot of uncertainty, but where you can find certainty is being super aggressive where there's smoke. So I'm going to release a white paper on how the internet has changed real estate in the next couple of days on agenttruth.com. But what it is that buyers want to shop untethered. Obviously, we're talking mortgages, so I'm not going to be talking about the sell side as much, other than how we generate buyers is finding people that want to sell their house. So that is part of the process, but people want to shop untethered. Therefore, we have to look for the smoke, not the fire, because during their goal of shopping untethered, it's how to give you the smoke screen so that you're not paying attention to who they are, because they're inundated with people. But that's the person you need. That's why you need to be aggressive, right? So the first one was target renters. The second one is be super aggressive. Number 3, I have in talking
Jeff,
about.
Can I ask you a question real quick on that? Could you give an example of what you mean by being aggressive? Where there's smoke?
we're gonna I'm just giving you the 4 things up front, and then there's this guy, his name's Todd Booksman out of Phoenix, that said, tell them what you're going to tell them, then tell them what you just told them in detail, and then review what you just told them. Todd, is that okay if I follow that format, or do I need to go with something different for Deborah?
No, that's a tried and true format. So give us the 4 points.
Okay, sorry for getting ahead, right?
These
so
questions.
I'm going slow here, Deborah, and I don't mean, you social media people that can move faster than I can. So number 3, I have putting agents in a path of opportunity, because people have lost their skill, but it's where they will realize they can work on their skill the most. And that means, following up on number 2, how the internet changed real estate, buyers wanted to shop untethered. How do I find them? And that's how to put yourself in the path of opportunity while you're getting any benefits. And then number 4 is it's agentTruth.com, Agent Truth. So today I'm giving you everything for free. Free training, video training, script training, everything for free at agenttruth.com. If you want to go there, we're uploading the stuff as fast as we can. What it is we are agents helping agents grow. That's what you go to Agent Truth, but it's the scripts and the training that you can give them now for free, because they can go there. I mean, I'm giving it all away there, and you can go there for the current stuff. I mean, I'm uploading videos every single day. I'm uploading blogs every single day and trying to help people execute at a higher level, and ultimately helping agents learn to invest through real estate to build wealth. So I've found $5 million worth of wealth through buying houses. But if you can convince every agent that out there to buy more houses, what do you know? That might lead to a couple more opportunities. I mean, Todd, little game of Family Feud here for you. So how many loans have you done for Jeff Seebach?
Oh gosh, I'd call Matt Baker and ask her, look in our CRM, but it's north of 10.
Well, I know your client. Yes.
I know it's north of 10. So it's a great number.
Yes, right. So, yes, we were refinancing everything in 2018 at better than a 3% rate. But the idea is that no, Warren Buffett doesn't own any real estate, but it's because he's not a real estate expert. But teaching your people to invest in real estate themselves is only going to make you look better, right? But also it's going to lead to more loans for you, right? Because they should be using this opportunity, because there's one theme, if I want to teach you anything today, is there's more people than houses. So this market is not going to be as bad as people think it's going to be. So
Love it. Love it. All right. So let's circle back then to number one. You said that renters are the opportunity. They're the white space opportunity out there. So what is your recommendation? So here you're talking to loan officers who can also go after renters, and they can also encourage their real estate agents to go after renters. So how would you advise that someone who is going to pursue renters, where do they start?
Where they start, maybe, are they a renter is the first question, right? So then it would be your rental complex, right? Like what we're seeing is, first, I just want to review for everybody that may not believe this, just if you want to go to zumper.com, just as a place, right? Blog, and then rental price data, right? Rental prices have doubled in our marketplace. As you look here, cities like, New York, Miami, Florida, Washington, DC, Fort Lauderdale, Chicago, Illinois, Denver, Colorado, Atlanta, Georgia. I just want to make sure I'm hitting your audience across the US, but rental prices have been on the rise and will continue to be on the rise because they have not built enough houses in the US. The 19 most popular cities, they have not built enough houses. It's why there's more people renting. And the fact is they actually win the most in this style environment, because if the house price now, due to lack of demand, is off 5%, and you can negotiate another 5% off and get that seller to pay for their buy down, right? This is why I call it the 2014 playbook, because this was normal aspect. But if you haven't been in the business or if you haven't been in the business more than 8 years, that's when the refi boom began, Todd, wasn't it?
No, yeah. It's we had a full decade of the gift of low rates. No doubt about it.
Yeah. Todd was doing that radio show so that he could get as many possible refis as possible. I remember focusing on your, after 5 time calling those people, but the same thing for you is your opportunity to meet with agents and talk to them about this strategy of how they can grow their business. What it is there's renters are, it's as simple as picking up the phone, meaning that rental leads are easy to find because all you have to do is advertise, because they're not a target audience, if that makes any sense. Meaning that mortgage people and real estate people have not been pursuing this. So there's not as much protection around them. So they're a lot easier to find.
So you're just saying they've been ignored because the last couple of years it was just too easy to get other people who are ready to buy today versus a renter who you might have to nurture.
Right. So obviously you want to spend the most time going after the people that are where you can penetrate the most. And that is, to me, it's simply go to a rental complex at around 7 a.m. or 6 p.m. at night. You can tell by that rental complex says it's, 1 bedroom starting at 2,200. And then you can just see around that area what homes are selling for to see, is that a good target? Obviously start with the higher rental neighborhoods first. The reason is because these people lost over the last 2-3 years, because if you did not have a significant down payment, you could not win. So they may have tried to buy in the last 2 years, but they simply lost, meaning your FHA and your VA. That's where you guys make more money, right? That's who you want to be targeting here, because you're not having the refis, then you can actually double your income by selling loans that pay you more. But the 0 downs and the 3.5% is who we're looking for, that are renting in higher neighborhoods to convert them to buyers. So let's the challenge is that, I mean, I was listening to phone calls this weekend. So we had a $3,000 rental in South Scottsdale. One of my number one agents, he did second year in the business. He did $28 million. So a good agent, decent, right? So he handled the call. They're looking for a rental and didn't even think of that should be a conversion, right? So we called back the guy who was looking for the 3,000, like he was looking to hand that to another agent that, you know, a new agent, because that's a $3,000 rental lead and that's not a good lead. My point is they looked a gift horse in the mouth. When we slowed it down and talked to that guy, his wife's kicking him out, right? He needs a place. Well, he can get qualified, right? Like that, like they just passed that lead over, not thinking, wow, that's the person I should be aggressive with. Because obviously if you're looking to buy 3,000, hopefully you can find a mortgage, especially if you have the seller paying for the rate buy down. You can get this person into a house. I mean, it's where the good prospects are.
So when you identified that complex and you know the area, you're looking at the surrounding homes, what is that next step? I mean, are you using Facebook targeted ads? Are you trying to host home buying seminars? I mean, how do you end up getting their contact?
Great. Yes. No, I love the using the internet as leverage here. I mean, we're definitely heavy on social media, but I mean, simply it's more of just focusing on appointments. So I'm more of just going to meeting the people when they're coming out of work, right? Like you're just trying to, ideally if the agent lives in a community, then they can just target the people around them, but you're trying to get appointments. You're trying to create appointments. So I'm trying to be more direct as possible. Of course, you can run social media, or you could run Google pay-per-click ads over the community, but any type of promotion. So at any level, whether it's the internet or even just simply trying to get in front of people and ask them about, like, what is your plan? What is your plan? And I have a video on agenttruth.com if you want to go out, which is just types of questions to be asking people to learn where are they at. And you'll find that lots of people are in bad housing situations. And in this type of market, we want to target the people that are sideways movers, because it increases our pool of buyers, because lots of people during 19, 20, 21, 22 definitely move too quickly, and now they will need to move sideways. I don't know if I answered your question, Deborah.
I was even thinking, as soon as you were talking, you know, when you're watching at 7 a.m., I'm sure there's behavior patterns of just where do they go to get coffee? Where are they, you know, if you just set up shop and have your computer and your sticker on the back, or
oh, it's way easier than that. All you got to do is just walk over to the complex and they're out. I mean,
you don't get like the leasing manager doesn't shoo you off.
Of course, it's not legal. I didn't say that. No, but I mean, I mean, to me, you would mail, right? You would direct mail would be a great place with a white envelope, and put that is, you know, what is your plan to buy a house, right? Like because what's happening is landlords are going to be coming back and asking people for rent increases. So that's why these people are going to be ready to move. The point of it is that it's a great environment because sellers appreciate the offers. Buyers feel good about the price, and you have the FHA and the VA loans now can win, right? Like, because the house is all, I mean, because I don't believe that the market's going to go down as much as it has, because lots of sellers are sitting on 3% mortgages, right? Like, we're going to get more listings because listings was so low over the last 3 years. We had less than a month of supply in most major cities. So now you're going to see, you know, you'll see supplies go to 2 months or 3 months, but that's okay, because our FHA and our VA buyers that are renting could not buy before, but now they can get the assistance from the sellers paying for those.
Todd, do you have any opinion on the assumable mortgage and how, Like, do you think those are going to come back for listing agents if you're trying to
You
get
know
people
what?
who?
I have not done any research nor have any opinion on that at this time,
Okay.
but that's a good question. I'll put it on my to-do list.
Yeah.
All right. So,
I was
so
just
Jeff,
curious. Go ahead.
go ahead, you go.
I was curious because I've started to hear that more and more. And I don't know, Jeff, have you heard anything about, do you know what an assumable mortgage is?
I do.
Do you think that could be an
You
easy
had
way
our
for?
first one last week, right? It was a VA,
Oh,
VA, right? Is assumable,
uh-huh.
Todd? You just have to qualify. You have to still qualify the new, but that was just because they were sitting on a 275 assumable mortgage. That would be good right now.
Outside of my knowledge belt. So that's something to consider for sure. So you mentioned the word aggressive, that agents have to get aggressive now. So how does somebody, how do you coach somebody, or what are the follow-up strategies that you guys are using to be aggressive in this market? Especially, I know in your case, you guys do a lot of online lead generation. So those folks, you got to, kind of convince that you're the best of the 17 different websites they've registered for and that kind of thing.
Yeah, the first one is slap and tickle. Okay, just kidding. But the reality is that we're coming off such a hot marketplace that they kind of need to be slapped and brought back to, as I'm doing helping agents, I'm helping agents build wealth through buying houses, as I'm reaching out to them, is they're all on vacation. Right. Like, obviously it's Arizona, so it's hotter here during the summertime. So everybody leaves, and maybe in other states, may not be same, but it's summertime, it's vacation time. Right. So, but they're sitting on a lot of cash. Agents in general, if they're a good agent, is sitting on a pile of cash because the last 3 years has been a gift, better than any gift that could have ever happened. Right. So meaning demand was the best of the last 20 years. So now all of a sudden, when the Fed raises interest rates, but more importantly, when the real interest rate goes up by 2% or more, people are slow to move to, because it's been a drastic cutoff, in my opinion, meaning from April to June, we've decreased demand by 30%. So they kind of have to be brought back to reality of, you need to be more aggressive. And what that means is penetrating through the smoke. So the way I explain it is it's musical chairs. I like, large analogies that are very simple for people to understand. And that is, when you go for the slap and tickle, you let them know that it's a game of musical chairs, that's all that's happening to help them understand. Am I bouncing a lot, or is that just Todd?
Todd.
Okay. So when I was just wondering if I needed to keep up with him, that's the way he helps himself nod. But back to the slap and tickle, right? So when you get, meaning you got to get their attention, but they need to be able to, instead of move from lead to lead to lead, aggressive means pressing that one person that you identify that wants to shop untethered. That's your winning deal. I don't know if I'm explaining that correctly, but musical chairs is how I explain the declining supply. Because what happened is the Fed basically came and took away, let's say there was 100 chairs out there, they took away 30 chairs. Well, there's the same amount of agents chasing those deals, and those that are just talking to the lead one time or two times are going by all of the great opportunities. And that is your opportunity to press on that lead harder, meaning to slow down, because now the houses aren't selling as fast. So we can just relax and be more aggressive. And then what it is it's skill development. It's learning to create a conversation with that person, right? Like, we don't have to, we can work the lead. It's working a pipeline instead of, do you want to buy? Do you want to buy? You want to buy it? We're in an environment where agents have trained themselves to be skillless, because they were just, you could just look for the next deal and it would come. Well, that has changed, and now it's going deeper, on those leads.
What would you say, Jeff, is the most right now in your market from a buyer standpoint and a seller, what is their number one fear? Like what's causing them to hesitate? Is it, my guess would be sellers are thinking they missed the boat. And so now they're waiting, and buyers, like, are you still hearing people wonder if we're going to have a housing crash? Is this a housing bubble?
Yeah, I
I'll
mean,
just wait.
it's fed to them through their email, through their TV. I mean, it's the only thing that Fox and CNN, all those want to talk about is because they don't understand, right? Because everybody wants to say, oh my God, we're headed for 2006, right? But we were sitting on interest rates that were, I'm sorry, rental rates were half of what they are today in 2006. So now rents are twice as much, because if you're sitting on a 3% mortgage, you're not going to move. I mean, that's how we squell people away from the fear. What I'm seeing from buyers, it's more of just my rate changed, or now it's changed my affordability index, and that causes people to pull back, right? It was no different than why I said it's just like my 2014 pullback or playbook, is because in 2014, interest rates rose almost 1 point in a 6-month period of time. And once we settle at an interest rate, we're going to be fine. The problem is that when they got their quote from your great mortgage people out there, it was 1,900. Now it's 2,400. Oh my God, do we want to move? Do we want to give up Starbucks every morning so that I can buy this house? And that's a big decision for people today. Right? It's rising inflation against for the first time in 10 years, they asked for their mortgage and it was higher, not lower, right? Like this is a slap in the face.
So you're a data guy. So what kind of data are you having your team, your agents share with buyers who are fearful about the market crashing?
Yeah, I mean, to give you a picture, can we let me go to a screen share? Can I share this? I'll show you. This is the data that I'm looking at. Can you see that or no?
Not yet.
We see your smiling face. If not, maybe Robert might need to
Can I
run
just
some
hit share and I'm good?
share, and let's see what happens.
that?
There we go. Look at that magic.
Okay, so this is the kind of chart, if you want to take a capture, this is Maricopa County comparing, this is the 52 weeks of the year. This is the way I explain housing supply and inventory is what's on MLS, and then supply is basically the amount of new listings. What, basically Salt Lake has less water coming into it, therefore there's less water in the basin. So we were low. So this is comparing to 2000. If you can see down on the right hand side, I have checked 2006, 7, and 8. And if you look up in the left hand corner, that is the amount of homes that were coming on the market heading into the downturn, which led to it because everybody could leave at that moment and go to a half price rental. I mean, it wasn't half price at the time, it was full price, but it was a lot cheaper than their mortgage their arm that they had at 6.5 at the time, right? It was easy to go to a low price rental. That is not the case now. Rental prices are higher than a mortgage price. So this is the kind of chart that's showing of why supply isn't going to continue to grow. I mean, I actually went to Michael Orr, the Oxford grad that put together this chart and said, hey, right, like I expected this to happen, but this shows that sellers, and this is how the internet is changing, is that sellers, when they see in their neighborhood, there's a lot of houses they're going to not list. As you can see, in 2006, 7, and 8, nobody could see the supply because the internet was not fully built out, let's call, meaning Zillow didn't come out until 2007. People could not see on the internet the amount of homes, and there was rushing amounts of supply. So now you're seeing the debate come into place. If you can see here, the 2,100, that's how many houses that were listed this week in Maricopa County. And why it's declining is because people are sitting on 3% mortgages. I mean, that's a chart. Is that what you were at? Does that fit the bill, Todd?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, ultimately, I think it's always having a story to tell. And I know you do such a great job of training your team and helping them understand what's going on today to do that. So I guess, my thought is if you're a loan officer in your market, you need to find the Jeff Seabach in your market, the person who understands data. So that way, you can have that data in your tool belt so that you as a loan officer can come alongside of your realtor and be really reiterating what they're reiterating. You got to say the same thing that they're saying to support it, because, as you said, Jeff, you've got to be aggressive. And so I guess going back to the aggressive for 1 second, I mean, what you said, most agents stop at 1 to 2 calls, and a lot of you loan officers do too. But so what's your follow-up plan? You guys get a lead in now, or maybe someone who looked last year, didn't buy, they became a renter, and all of a sudden they pop back up in your MLS search. How aggressive are you in your follow-up? Is it 10 calls, 3 calls, 33 calls? What does that look like?
It's more about the way you do it, not the amount. Because unfortunately, agents are not between themselves and what their client wants. Mortgage people are, right? So that's a big understanding difference, is because somebody has to talk to you to get your rate. They don't have to talk to an agent to find their house. So it's a different dynamic, for sure, versus it. And to me, it's understanding. It's the strategy we use is called STTS, single, triple, single. And that's understanding that people want you to pay attention to them. They want to know that, because now 1 reach out or 2 reach outs might be a bot. They want to know that you're real. And how you penetrate through this is by demonstrating that you're real, by dedicating time, not necessarily just the phone, but I mean, it's why you want to go to agenttruth.com to see these strategies that are working, because it's not more sales calls, because that annoys people. It's circle prospecting is not working, right? Like just sold postcards and just listed postcards are losing their effectiveness because they're not understanding where the lead's coming from, what they want, right? You're not certain, like you unfortunately, you're getting screened out of the process if you're following those methodologies.
All right. So
me,
if you think those were the good strategies, then what are you replacing those strategies with? How are you proving you're not a bot? How are you building that relationship and rapport and showing the consumer you care?
I'm utilizing what they give me, right? So when we get a lead, I first want to confirm that person is who they said they were, right? So it's really complex. It's just a text with their first name. For instance, if you filled it out, Todd Booksbrath, right? Because you were trying to hide your identity because you want to shop untethered, right? So I would just then, the first text is Todd ? Being real and being simple with people. And then the next question is, tell them who you are. Now, they reached out, meaning I'm an inbound marketer, but it's getting people to reach out through the web and then reaching out to them. And then it's stating who I am and then asking them a question about what they were interested about, right? Because you can garner from the lead source of what they were asking about, and then spacing out that message. The SDS that we teach is the most successful lead conversion method we've ever had. It's so simple. It's just 4 texts over about 6 minutes, because you're just trying to see the bubbles. You all text, right? Mortgage people text? Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Right. Like when you see the other person, the bubbles, now you know what? That person is real, right? When I say aggressive, it's slowing down your time and your strategy to actually see where they're at. And now I can use a sales strategy like dangling a carrot or promise deliver, right? Like, hey, I'm going out to see houses in that neighborhood this week. That would be called a promise deliver. And then I'm also dangling a carrot. When I get there, I'm going to text you the number. Is this the best number to reach you? Now, if you can't convert that lead, then that's your problem, right? Like, but the hardest thing to get through is silence, meaning you reach out to a lead and they don't reply. People, they move on to the next one, the next one, the next one. They didn't realize that they needed to be more aggressive.
So easy enough. So they've registered for your site and they're looking at a house in Troon in a specific community, and then you're just going to follow up around that specific community so that they realize that you're the human being, and by not pushing them all in a row, it's not going to look like an auto thing from a CRM.
Yeah, I'm going to go to my Agent Truth blog here. I'm going to reshare my screen because I want to make this, I'm trying to make this super easy for your people out there. I want to give your people tools, Todd, tools that they can use, right? So
I'm excited about that because you said number 3 is we got to basically put them in the path and they got to work on their skills. So
right here it is.
I love the fact that you're giving us, oh, look at that. Wow. There is Phil.
Yeah, right. So Dolores, I'm not kidding. Simple. STS, single, triple, single, right? Right? That's called winning, right? Like getting somebody to respond that you can't get a hold of, right? It's on agenttruth.com. Go to the blog. So what it is we're just showing people conversion tactics that work, right? Like we're getting a 30% response rate from this text, that's called working.
All right, perfect. All right, so unshare your screen for a sec because now we see that your previous one.
Okay.
All right, so here's my thought for loan officers, right? Put on your hat. You're trying to figure out, how do I help a realtor right now? And so your opportunity is to read Jeff's blog over on agenttruth.com and then come up with that strategy. So easy call this week is, hey, just heard a great interview of an agent who closed almost $400 million last year. Are you interested in hearing his number 1 strategy to convert buyers? And then you pause and then you let them actually think, because of course, what are they going to say? They're going to say yes. And then you can teach them what Jeff taught them. Now, I would say that you go there, you pick out and identify your top things that you want to share with the agent, and then be nice to Jeff and then encourage the agent to go check out his site.
Yeah, well, even on there is, Todd, the strategy that I'm going to tell you to teach them is help them become an area expert. Okay, I put this out on Agent Truth so you can follow it along, because it's nice to have the specifics, right? Because everybody wants the specifics, but basically get them, you're trying to, it's number 3 on my list, put them in the path of opportunity. How can you help somebody is teach them something that puts them in the path of opportunity. So you're going to
go read it, but can you walk us through it real quick?
Sure, absolutely. Right. So this is just so you don't have to take more notes.
We only
right here it is, right? So right here, you're going to click on it. That's us telling it in there.
We don't see it yet. We don't see it.
Thank you. Hold on.
Share again.
Share again. Yep.
There we go. Now we see it.
Okay. Right. First tip, right? Save a search of MLS around their house. Okay. Because what you're trying to do is identify the coming soons and the actives that are listed in your neighborhood, because that's where the untethered buyers are going to go, right? Like once it goes active in the marketplace, the buyers are finding the house on Zillow, on Trulia, on Realtor.com, and they're driving out by the house. 80% of buyers drive by the house that when they see one they like on the internet. So you're trying to put yourself in the opportunity, or put yourself in the path of opportunity, which means that you need to be out there knocking on doors around that listing, because you're waiting for the buyer to show up at that house. It's called putting yourself in the path of opportunity, because the buyer, you have an appointment to see that house. And then when they drive up, they're going to leverage your appointment because they're just driving by, and now you can show them. It's putting them in the path of opportunity. It's just a simple strategy. This is step 1. Step 2 is then understanding, there's another blog on there, is understanding the 3 things that the agent's going to gain. Can we get the 3 things, right? Because they're actually going to become a local area expert, because now they're seeing the houses, right? Social media wise, you take pictures when you're out there and post them on social media. So you show everybody that you're on top of the marketplace, but then also you have a chance to meet prospects that are in the process, right? It's why we're focused on open houses and sign equity, right? Like around your listing, is because you're trying to take advantage of the untethered buyers out there. That's when I said smoke, and I said about being aggressive, is these people are in the process. Be more aggressive with these people.
All right. I love it. Love it. So I love this whole idea of untethered buyers, because, it's a great way to describe the fact that, we all know that people are out there. You just said it. They're searching all these sites. They've registered with a bunch of different agents. And in the end, it's going to be the agent who actually gets them and connects them and provides the most value that's going to win.
Correct. Nothing we've heard, nothing we haven't heard before. It's just being aggressive in the right spots. And then what we're given is scripts that I give the people scripts that they can use, because that's the hardest thing is now what do I say? Right? You're trying to help them understand what they want, right? Whether it's the buyer driving by or the door knocking opportunity that you got, because when you were looking up that new listing online, you just saw the neighborhood listed and his name was Lawrence, and you knock on the door and his name's Larry. I'm going to go with that might be that guy. But
So
that's
Jeff,
go ahead, Deborah.
What are your top sources that you're consuming, whether it's daily or weekly, to remain the expert? Like if you're coaching new agents, or if I'm a loan officer and I'm wanting to help my agents be that local expert, besides the MLS, are there certain articles or blogs that you?
Sure. I mean, I have a podcast that's called Putting the Consumer First. It's called The Solution. It's any Apple podcast out there, but we go through these strategies constantly. Like this is all we're focused on there. So I listen to, I read stuff on Inman, but I think it's disappointing. But to me, it's more of just listening to talking to your consumers. I mean, I consume Rob Hahn. I consume,
Anything with like Altos Research, Housing Wire, Keeping Current Matters.
Yeah, though that stuff's garbage in my opinion. So that's all regurgitated content. I'm not finding. I mean, those national things are really misguided. I mean, in my training online, when I talk to my agents, I tell them to ignore this stuff. I mean, you read the data of the market, find a place that you can go to find out supply, demand, buying behaviors, selling behaviors. That's what I consume. I consume the data from my marketplace to help me understand so that I can pitch it to the right people that are in the process. I don't know if I answered your question.
You just mentioned Rob who? Rob
Hahn, the notorious ROB. It's just he talks about the real estate industry in general. Basically, he's the fear mongerer to, because commission compression's coming and just the lawsuits, and he kind of at least gives you introduction to some of the leaders out there. Because he has a podcast, he's got two, Greg Robertson and him do a podcast, and he does a regular one as well.
Got it. So what you're saying is rather than rely on what any other one particular source to know what's going on in the market, just figure out what the best source in your market is. So you showed Cromford Report, which in the Maricopa County market is really kind of the gold standard for data and information. And you would just encourage someone to figure out what's that gold standard in their local market.
Well, I mean, the thing is before the Cromford Report in 2003, 4, 5, 6, I tracked it myself because I came from a software background and you had to understand the market better than everybody else. But it's this kind of market is you got to find those gold nuggets. You got to find where the opportunities are, and it's in that data. It's being the expert so you can be where the puck is going, not where it's been. I mean, in 2016, Gary Keller came out. Unfortunately, the head of real estate told everybody we're going into a recession. Guess what? The number one guy, according to Stefan Swanepoel, he has puts out the SP 200 list of the most influential people, told everybody the wrong thing. I mean, if you're listening to these experts talk, nobody can predict the future. He didn't know. We were just headed for the biggest real estate boom ever. He should have been telling all his agents to buy more houses and then they would all be wealthier today. But that's not what happened. So again, if we're going to look to these people to tell us the answers, they're looking in the wrong place. It's the people it's your team leaders in the marketplace. I mean, to me, search out your Zillow Flex partners because they have leads and they're converting them, but they're going to have the stats and the graphs that you may need. Have a good discussion with them because they're working with buyers, because the realtor.com, everybody, the home light lead providers, where you can offer value is helping them find non-referral paying leads, right? Because that's robbing the agents, and nobody wants that. I mean, I was talking to George Lawton, one of the top 10 agents in the country, and their number one thing for 2022 was he was looking for non-refer paying leads, meaning the Zillow leads, the home light leads, the guy selling on TV, 2% listing agents, whatever, all the Dave, the guy that hates EXP, what's his name? Ramsey. Yeah. Right. Like,
so some people don't know what Zillow Flex is. So can you just real quick tell them? I mean, that's a Zillow's program that's in a lot of markets now.
right. Either you buy leads up front or they give you a lead. Now, the good news about Zillow Flex is you want to find these partners because they're good leads. They're the best leads. Basically, I mean, I create Google pay-per-click leads, and then 6 months later, it turns into a Google lead. So I know that they're high quality leads because we're closing them, but the agents find it easier because they're in the process. A flex lead is the client is on the phone and it connects the agent with the client on the phone. Obviously, lead quality goes up because there's no other instance in real estate where we get a forced conversation. In mortgage, they have to find out your rate. So that creates one forced conversation. In real estate, there's nothing that guarantees that you're going to talk to an individual, but this
So
helps.
Zillow essentially, so ultimately what Zillow is doing, guys, is they're basically taking the people further down the funnel. So Jeff said it takes him 6 months to nurture a lead. And then really what Zillow is doing is they're nurturing those leads in their system. When they reach out to Zillow, instead of Zillow selling the lead and emailing somebody, they actually have a call center. They're connecting it live to agents like Jeff in the Zillow Flex program. But they're taking a big chunk of their commission. And so you kind of hit the nail on the head. I mean, every time I've had a real estate agent on here, the 2 or 3 times I've interviewed him in the show, and you say, hey, how do you, someone always asks, no one has yet, I'm shocked, how do I get a meeting with an agent like you? And they've always said, first they say you can't, and they say, well, of course, if you bring me a pre-qualified buyer, we got lunch, right? I mean, that's really the way to do it. So you would encourage loan officers, as they're nurturing their database, doing annual mortgage reviews, obviously that pre-qualified client as a referral back to an agent is going to be gold.
Yes, but also I was more of, those are the agents that are going to be to get the data from. Those are the agents that are on top of the marketplace, meaning the elite agents that I know around the country are all looking for these because team leaders need lead sources. They need leads always. And the leads are declining in today's marketplace. So anyone that's providing leads, if you're looking to get a conversation, like you said, is create leads for somebody in this environment, they're going to listen, because leads are down substantially. And now we're going back to work our pipeline of leads. Now we're focused on skill building, going back to those people, because we're looking for the losers, the ones that tried to buy and couldn't, and then they saw rates go up and then they quit. That's actually our target client now, because that person is just excited to get a house.
Yeah, the rebounder, I call that. It's the people who missed out before, and now they've kind of realized that, oh yeah, rates are way higher, but at least I can choose from 3 houses this weekend, and actually, or maybe 13 houses this weekend. Before it was 2 or 3 houses.
Yes.
So Jeff, I'm curious, do you have any other creative or unique referral sources, whether it's, probate attorneys, financial advisors, divorce attorneys? Has any of that ever been successful for you with developing those partnerships and relationships to bring referrals in?
Yes, it has worked. The probate one is too targeted, in my opinion. Too many people work a source that's not that great. I have had financial advisors. I mean, the thing is as a team leader, I was more focused on, let me say it this way. There's not an elite agent that has taken one of those things and sells more than 50 houses a year. So I need lead sources that can sell 200 houses a year, 300 houses a year. I need more people in the path of opportunity, right? Like, so we use Zillow, we do video, we do, we're doing sales seminars now. I'm doing seminars. I'm doing them two ways. One is because we're seeing more listings come on, but remember, every list, 50% of people that list a house have a house to buy. So there's an opportunity there for you. But the trying to go for the lead sources that are not those, like, I mean, the problem is that the environment has changed. It's now, there's plenty of leads. That's not the problem. There's plenty of leads. The problem is everybody's looking for a new lead source to find the same leads that are out there. That's why I'm telling you to be aggressive with what you got, meaning look the person up, see if they own a house. So as long as you have, I mean, Facebook leads are too high on the funnel, right? That's why I pointed out the Zillow leads, the Realtor.com or Redfin. At least they're giving you people that are in process, because essentially it's harder than ever to mature a lead. Meaning, if we're working leads that are at the beginning of the funnel, let's over here, right? So to get them over here, what are we paying for that cost? Right? It's why agents are going to the Zillow or the Redfin or the Home Light lead, is because they're not willing to pay 30% to chase that lead. I'll just take the lead and pay the 35% fee, because at least I have enough leads to feed my children, which is my agents on my team.
So you said sales seminars. What does that look like?
Home selling seminars.
So like live on Zoom?
Yes. Live
Yes.
and on Zoom. Yes. No,
And
I mean, we need to be, flexible. We need to offer it in person and online, right? So we're doing them on Zoom, but we're also offering them in person, because we don't know what people are going to show up for. But the second piece of it is that I'm teaching people how to build wealth through real estate to increase the amount of people that come to the seminar, right? It's I'm out there competing against Grant Cardone now, right? Because there's lots of people that want to build wealth, right? And the way that they can build wealth is through buying houses. That's what we're teaching on Agent Truth, is your path to wealth is through buying houses in real estate. So we're teaching agents or people to get a license to buy it for themselves because of the cost that they save when buying houses themselves. Because the reality is yes, am I going to convert a couple clients to agents? Well, sure, but ultimately they're going to go anyway if they're looking for a side hustle. I just one of the blogs I just wrote was, is real estate a good side hustle? But every person that you're dealing with, an agent, they should have a spouse that's buying houses for them and becoming a real estate expert, because of the cost savings that we save when we have a license, when we buy houses.
Totally different strategy. One we're not going to unpack in 7 minutes, but I love the idea. So I'll have to go read the blog. And so, kind of as we go up into wind up mode, right? So my notes and my takeaways were, huge opportunity in rent to own. And, again, I think as a loan officer, you can absolutely partner with your real estate agents and figure out where they're going, where they're looking. And you have a great opportunity using Mortgage Coach to do a rent versus own analysis. And so I would encourage you to be sharing that with your agents. Jeff said buy downs, right? Obviously, we've been talking a ton about the 2-1 buy down here in the Mortgage Coach community and using a total cost analysis to show that. So that would definitely be opportunity number 2. And if I think I was just going to call out a third one, it would be to send go first yourself to agenttruth.com and just learn the free scripts, learn the strategies that Jeff is teaching realtors so that you can actually help your real estate agents by teaching them. Now, initially, you're going to pretend you're the expert. Then eventually you want to, get them over there and work with them. I mean, work on the scripts. The same scripts that they're using are scripts that you can adapt. And the same strategies they're using are strategies that you can adapt and use in yours. What do you think, Deborah? What were your big takeaways?
My favorite thing that you said, Jeff, was that there's plenty of leads and everyone is just looking for new ways to find the same leads. And I think that's so powerful in the sense that we tend to overcomplicate things. We overthink it. We try to perfect a process when it could be as simple as just driving to a luxury apartment complex where, either people when they're relocating, they like to rent before they then find, which neighborhood would they want to be in. But it could be as simple as just watching and being a student of their behavior and, put things on their door or find out where they drink coffee and put a lemonade stand out front. I mean, whatever it needs to be, where it really doesn't have to be that complicated, because you're right. It is, everyone's fighting over the same leads. And I think sometimes we create complex systems or process where we're trying to find the next greatest source when it's like, just go straight to the source. Just go there. Here's an entire complex of the actual people that we know should be buying, and just go there. So I think that was very powerful.
Thank you.
All right, Jeff. So what are your words of wisdom in
Yeah.
3
Pro
minutes
tip.
or less?
Yeah. Pro tip. So my agents were mocking the mortgage people from the weekend.
What?
Yes. So the agent that, let's say it this way, the third mortgage guy that showed up at the open house without doing any homework about the agent is who they were making fun of. Right? The agents think that going to open houses is going to be like this big win for them. Right? Yeah. No. Right? Help put them in the path of opportunity. That's how you're going to help them, is show, like you said, Todd, right? Give them a lead, show them how to convert a lead. Like that is what the agents need, not your business card to tell you that they're the best option, right? Like they were just,
All right. So if I show up for an open house, what should I do ahead of time so I don't look like the third guy that you were all making fun of?
well, to me, it's maybe knock on the neighbor's doors and find one of the neighbors that wants to sell and then show up. I'm saying do a little work, right? Like just know that you're wasting time if you didn't do the work before you came, because there's already been 3 people at my house, and yes, that's what I need is another mortgage guy that has no refis and that's trying to get me to give them their loans. Like show up and have good strategies, like show me how to find a buyer. And that's why I told you to go to the blog, so that at least you can give them a strategy to help them increase their business. As long as they're looking at more houses, they're going to meet more buyers and they're going to like you more. That's a strategy. That's not hey, I need your loans now, call me.
So maybe show up and say, hey, what's your flyer? You have a flyer that I can take around and knock on the rest of the street here and have them, see if I can encourage them to come over and meet you.
Yeah, no, I created a flyer. It's an open house flyer because at the listing, that agent has the most amount of power, right? Right. What I call is sign equity is what I call it. So then reach out to them. That, let's say you go on the Zillow and you see that there's going to be open house on Thursday, reach out to that agent and say, hey, can I knock 50 doors with you using this strategy that I learned from Agent Truth, where I'm going to give you a script and we're going to knock on these doors, because marketing's not a one-time event. When that person then comes to your open house, now you're building rapport, now you're meeting neighbors. But that is let me work with you, not give me your work benefits, is where I'm at.
I like that. Marketing isn't a one-time event.
Well, because they see the sign, they come down, right? Like you're coming to the open house, so you're getting to touch them multiple times. Now that's a good lead because now they've seen your face. Go ahead, Todd.
No, I'm just smiling, listening.
Have you ever had a lender do that with you, Jeff, or anyone on your team? Go and knock doors?
No.
Any other offerings?
I'll volunteer Matt Baker for that. It's 110, so he definitely should.
Well,
please go live.
I give them, the thing is I don't want it to get into door knocking, because door knocking is a bad strategy that you can make more effective when you leverage it with a sign and an open house, right? You're trying to create something that can work, because if not, it's a numbers game, and that's we know how that works out. So we're trying to look for the people that are in the process, meaning that when you knock on the door, the sellers are smarter now. They will want to sell, but they see there's lots of listings in their neighborhood, so they're not listing, but they still would like to find a buyer. So you got to leverage the buyers that you're going to have that are going to come to the open house to get that seller to respond. It's leveraging the open house to get that buyer to, so you can be more aggressive with them and fight through the smoke, because they do want to sell. It's just that you're not talking to them about the right things. We got to learn what they want and then leverage giving them what they want.
All right. So here's my action plan for all of you, because Jeff has to go shower and go to his team meeting. Luckily, he's got a business partner in Phil who's already launching them off. But the bottom line is this, is that what you've seen over the last 60 minutes is that Jeff is very knowledgeable. He's a great leader. He's got opinions on what's going to work and not going to work in this market. And the cool part about it is at agenttruth.com, you and your referral partners can learn from Jeff in a curated way. So that would be my encouragement to all of you. I just want to say thanks, Jeff, for jumping in and being part of the Mortgage Coach community. As always, Deborah, thanks for being here. Robert, behind the scenes, running the show and making us look good. So on behalf of Dave Savage and the whole crew at Mortgage Coach, myself and the team over at Win by Noon, thanks for being here for another Tuesday interview on the Mortgage Coach channel. If you're watching this in YouTube, please like and then hit subscribe up above. Leave some comments. We'll check back, and appreciate all of you for being here. We will see you on Friday for another Mortgage Coach Productivity Mastermind group. See y'all.
Thanks, Todd. Appreciate the opportunity.
Bye.